Welcome back to Just the Tips, brought to you by Centimetre Perfect. My name is Liam. That is Jesse, and we're here to tip round 19 of football action. The year's nearly done. Where's it gone? You can find us at CMPerfect_AFL on Insta, watching us on YouTube as you are now. Welcome. And you can catch our main podcast on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. And look, going back to YouTube, our deep dive and our game recap. It's everywhere. We're everywhere, Jesse. How you feeling, mate?
We're really clogging up the airways at the moment. We're like Kane Corns. We're absolutely everywhere. I'm good, Liam, to answer your question properly. Looking forward to round number 19. I think we're at the point of the season now where the casuals will start to come out of the woodwork a little bit. It's getting close to finals time.
Yep.
We can start to really get a sense of who's going to be good, who's going to be bad, and more importantly, who's going to win footy tipping for the season.
That's right. And we can tell that you guys are getting desperate because our numbers are going through the roof on YouTube. Who's going to win? Let's find out. But from Liam and Jesse, they know what they're talking about. But Jesse...
Supply says for details.
But we're here again to do it. We use confidence points here. Jesse, tell the lovely people what confidence points are.
So confidence points are a way of providing a weighted score to our tips throughout the round. So we have 9 games this week. The team we are least confident in winning but will still get the job done, we will assign 1 point to. The team we are most confident in winning will be assigned 9. No repeats. Whoever has the most confidence points at the end of the season will be declared the winner, not necessarily the person with the highest amount of raw tips. Because as we saw, Liam, this week, it doesn't always matter about how you tip. It's about how you spread your points.
How you spread your points, Jesse. And this is how we ended up last week. I got 28 points and you got 25. Go the Mighty Suns. 483 for me, 476 for you. A little bit more of a buffer on there, which means I can go a bit nuts this round or play it safe. Which one will I do? You'll see in just a second.
You don't have play it safe in you.
What's that?
You don't have play it safe.
No.
You won't go 6 weeks defensive. I would if this was reverse score. You don't have this. You don't have that in you.
No, I really don't. You know me too well, Jesse. You know me too well. Without further ado, let's kick off with Thursday night footy.
Essendon once again have a Thursday night game in a blockbuster time slot. This is a floating fixture one too. So, makes sense of that what you will. Can they score 5 goals this week? We don't know, but they've got to do it against the Greater Western Sydney Giants, who are in hot form and looking to stamp themselves finals credentials for season 2025. As the loser of the most recent round, and in fact a lot of the most recent rounds, I get to go first here. Giants with 9. This would be a phenomenal form reversal. And I actually see a real scenario here where Giants recruit Jake Stringer outscores his former club because if they can only score 4 goals against Richmond, they might actually only score 2 here. And they might both be from free kicks or 50-metre penalties or from people in the crowd streaking and booting the ball in themselves. But Liam, what about you? Do you see the Bombers potentially causing a bit of an upset here and upsetting the top 8 dimensions?
No, Giants with 9. The way the Bombers have been playing, there's absolutely no chance in hell. Watch that come back and bite me. That they're going to even challenge here. I don't think, especially with the extra injuries. Nick Martin obviously going down last week as well. They're piling them up, Jesse. They're piling them up with the injuries. So Giants with 9, fairly easy in it. Let's move on to Friday.
Friday sees a cracking game featuring in a marquee time slot. Brisbane hosting the Western Bulldogs. The battle of the domesticated canines versus the non-domesticated felines. That would be quite ugly if it was in the wild. I don't like to think what would happen to little Milo if he wandered in the general vicinity of a lion. Alas, Liam, though, the Dogs, they wouldn't want to avoid getting mauled here because they need to keep their top 8 aspirations alive, but they've got to do it against a pretty good side, which has been a conundrum they have struggled to overcome throughout much of this season.
Jesse, I like to think your little Milo would make really good friends with a lion, actually, I would say.
He would assert he was bigger than the lion.
That is very true. No, I think this is going to be a challenge for sure. And it's one that I think the Bulldogs and also Freo, the 2 teams who are battling for that 8th spot, are going to have to face this towards the end of this season. I don't think the Bulldogs are going to do it. They haven't really shown that they've got the gumption against the top teams this season. So I've gone Brisbane with 4. I've still been quite conservative because there's obviously the Bulldogs are still a very good team. But Brisbane with 4, I think is a safe-ish tip for this one, Jesse. What are your thoughts?
I think the Bulldogs are a pepper spray side in that they've got this last defence on the utility belt that you don't know about until it sprays you in the eyes. So I've gone the Lions with 5. So I have gone a bit harder on this than you have. But I echo your sentiment, Liam. I think the Dogs can get their pepper spray out and they can hurt you. And they can hurt sides from first to 18th. They just haven't done it yet this season. We said in the main show that it is becoming a problem for them. So they do need to win one of these. So at some point, you're going to maybe see a statement win from the Dogs. And I think a side like Brisbane is probably one of the more likely sides to go and try and get one off. But right now, the Lions at home, that's a formidable task. They've only lost 4 games this season. They've been very good at the Gabba throughout. I can see them getting the job done here.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Saturday.
Hawthorn hosting Port Adelaide down in the shivering confines of Launceston. They get a great crowd down there. Rain, hail, or 2 degrees shine. Hopefully another good one down there for the Tassie faithful. I'm up first here. Hawks with 6 for me, and I could have gone a lot higher with this, to be honest. But I am wary that I still think Port have a good list. I know I say this every week.
You do.
I don't know why Port are where they are, if that makes sense. Like they're one of those sides that have been so much below expectation for me that I'm always reluctant to go heavily against them on points. Hawthorn, they need to make a statement. They lost to Fremantle. They don't have a fantastic draw home to the finals, and all of a sudden, there's a little bit of pressure on them now to keep their spot in the top 8. So they need to respond with 4 points. I expect them to do that, but beware the power, because we're getting close to the end of the Ken Hinkley farewell tour, and I imagine a lot of those players who have great relationships with Ken will want to see him out with a bang.
Well, if they had that good of a relationship, Jesse, they would have been winning games the whole season, wouldn't they?
Well, no, not necessarily.
Hawks with 7. I follow your sentiment. I think they're going to want to bounce back, the Hawks, after last week's loss to the Dockers. It's in UTAS. They played Tasmania pretty well. Power have lost Rosie, I think, for a little bit of time as well, potentially.
Horn Francis as well. Season.
And Horn Francis. Season. There we go. 2 massive outs for the Power, which is going to be, hurt them quite a bit, I think. Hurt them quite a bit. So I think Hawks should get the job done here. But like you said, Jesse, the Power are capable of anything, so we'll see what happens. Move on to the next game. Oh.
Sydney hosting North Melbourne at the SCG. Can the Swans keep their finals hopes alive? It is beating that heart of finals hopes. I don't know how strong that heartbeat is. We may need to get a Garmin on it and strap it up and see what it's like. I think it's going to be about 1 beat per year at the moment, but they still have a mathematical chance. So that's nice. North Melbourne would like to restore some pride and get over that 5-win mark for the first time since 2021. Liam, can they do that here? North Melbourne, can they add an extra win? Noting they've had some pretty good games against sides in this kind of bracket so far this year.
They have indeed. This one's tough, and my points are not going to really kind of show it how nervous I am about this game in terms of my tip, and you'll see why in a second. I've gone Swans with 6, but that's probably a bit high. But since Goulden's come back, they've looked pretty good. So I think he's kind of been the catalyst for them for the last few weeks. And I'm not going to angry tip against them like I did last week and throw a whole bunch of points out the window because that was silly. Kangas are good. They show great signs throughout the year. They've shown that they can take it up to the best. I still worry about their end game, though. The end game, like the young teams tend to die off at the end a little bit. They've shown that they're susceptible to that. So that's why I've gone the Swans with a bit more gusto than I probably would have liked to. Jesse.
I've gone Swans with a rather tepid breeze in comparison to your gusto there. Just the 3 points for me. I do think North are a dangerous side. I do think they have the ability to hurt Sydney here. But the Swans need to be winning this game. And I think it goes more beyond the 1 beat per year finals chance they do have at the moment. Simply put, they need to be restoring pride. And they need to also prove that Dean Cox is the man for the job. Yeah. Just for the record, I'm very much unconvinced on that fact. But I think we need to start seeing Dean Cox's game style, not the carcass of John Longmire's game style at the Swans. So this is an important game for him as a coach, and also I think for the Swans beyond 2025 as well.
Yep. Good call. Let's go to the next game.
Carlton hosting Melbourne at the MCG Saturday night footy. Carlton are the highest placed team playing on Saturday night, and they're 12th, and they're bad. I'm up first here. Melbourne with 8. When you're bad, you're bad. And you made that point in the main show, Liam. Right now, Carlton are in a death spiral, and I don't really see a way out of it. Melbourne had been in horrific form on paper in terms of raw win-losses prior to beating North last week, but they had been showing some decent footy. They were good against Adelaide the week before. They had moments in the recent rounds as well. So I think they're just in a much better place. And scoring-wise, that was the biggest issue for Melbourne at the start of the season. And we're just starting to see Melksham Fruch, I think Van Rooyen's slowly starting to look more like the player we know he can be. So I think if you just put all those things together for Melbourne up forward, Carlton's going to have a real tough time stopping them scoring goals and also scoring goals themselves.
Yeah. I've been a bit more conservative, Jesse. Our confidence points are all over the place this week. I've gone Melbourne just with the 3, only because Melbourne, while they've shown some good signs, they still haven't turned them really into wins up until last week. And I feel like there's still that little part of Melbourne that comes out sometimes where you're like, see Max Gawn and Stephen May having a bit of an argy-bargy in the square not 3 weeks ago. There's still that element that's kind of lingering, which is why I haven't gone gung-ho on the Melbourne Demons. But I still think they're good. I still think they're going to get the win. But yeah, just watch the Blues come out and figure out that this is the game they want to play. Watch it happen. Let's move on, Jesse, to the next game.
West Coast hosting Richmond at Optus Stadium on Saturday night. Really an important game for both these sides. In fact, there's a couple of games where seasons are on the line for a couple of teams this round, but this game has a lot more meaning to it, I think, for a couple of sides that are desperate to step themselves. Tigers could actually find themselves in 16th as opposed to 17th and equal on points with 15th if the current 15th place does not win. So a lot to play for there, Liam. You're up first here. I'm glad you are, because this is a tough one. How are you seeing this?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, because you look at if you take last week's games in a vacuum, then you go, well, the Eagles should have enough run to get this one done, because the Tigers looked kind of shit for most of the game. They got it done.
They got 4 points.
They got 4 points, didn't they? But who are they playing? A 2-bomberometer Essendon. I've gone the Eagles with 2. I think at Optus, this is a really good opportunity for them to give the fans something back. I think it's Saturday night. They should get a pretty good crowd, because they're going to think that this is a winnable game. So I think the crowd might be a little bit of an X factor for this one for the Eagles, and I'm hoping that they get their second win of the year. Jesse?
I'm not.
Oh, no.
Because we've been down this road before.
Sure.
And look, for the record, I want West Coast to win this game because we need them to start showing more, but I've gone Richmond with 1.
Yeah.
And it's purely because I think Richmond can play a stronger 4-quarter game of footy than West Coast can right now. And when you're talking fine margins, which is where these two sides probably are skills-wise, West Coast have beaten 15th. They've had a game against Richmond. They lost that narrowly. They had a game against 16th and North. They lost that narrowly. They just haven't been able to get it done. They absolutely could here. They are by no means out of the equation here of winning this game, and the home crowd advantage will help. But I do think we're starting to see a bit from the Tigers, and just remember, they don't have necessarily incentive to lose extensively, because with pick trading, they pretty much got pick 2 regardless.
Sure.
As things stand, having done a deal with North. So just let it happen.
Just let it happen. Nah, come on, Eagles. Get one in for the West Aussies around us. Come on, do it. Next game. Let's move on.
On Sunday, that's not Collingwood, that's Geelong. Sunday afternoon football comes to us from GMHBA Stadium. Geelong hosting St Kilda. The Cats need to set aside a disappointing loss to the Giants last week, whereas the Saints need to find a win. They can put up posters around Beau Morris and Moorabbin and everywhere, because they really do need to find one pretty urgently. Maybe they could offer a reward. I'm up first here. Geelong with 7. I don't think this is going to be a reward for effort for the Saints. Unfortunately, they're in 15th position at the moment. That's a very, very long way back for them. They're not winning games. Geelong mostly have been, although they did lose to St Kilda not 12 weeks ago, because how short is this season? It feels crazy that we're back here again. But look, I do think Geelong will have the gusto to get this done. This should be fairly automatic for the Cats, but the Saints have been better than what they've shown with their 5 wins, so it wouldn't be a total shock if there was an upset here.
Well, hopefully not. I've gone Cats with 8. I think at this tail end of the season, early season shenanigans aside, that's an early season. I think end season, the Cats really have to stamp their authority on this one, especially if they want to keep themselves in that top 4. They've got a healthy percentage, but those wins are the same as what the Dockers are on, and everyone down to 8th, basically. So they need to win this game. It's a winnable game. There's really no excuse for it. Really no excuse for them to lose. How's that for analysis, Jesse? It's great for me, as always. Let's go to the next one.
Love that. Complete accountability, no excuses. Love to see it, Liam. But Collingwood, they're up next. They host Fremantle at the MCG on Sunday afternoon. Big game for the Dockers. They need to go and arrest momentum back in their corner, win 2 on the bounce, and continue on pushing for finals on Justin Lemieux's 6th season against a side that he was a part of the coaching staff for many years. Collingwood coming off a surprise loss to the Suns, although not a surprise to some, Liam. Well done to you. But they have been the dominant force so far in season 2025. Liam, will that continue for the Pies, or can our beloved Dockers potentially spring an upset here and continue to roll on towards September?
Well, I think you and me, Jesse, would both love to see that. And the Dockers have been a bit of a bogey team for the Magpies across the last few seasons. Obviously, they beat us here earlier this year, but it wasn't exactly a clean.
It wasn't an easy game. It wasn't a rollover game.
It wasn't a rollover game. And I think last week the Dockers really showed what they can do against the same caliber. This is obviously better caliber. It'd be a big win for the Dockers, but Collingwood with 5 for me. Jesse.
Collingwood with 4 for me. Again, I do like to benchmark these games on, can Justin Lemieux outcoach the opposition coach? Very rarely is the answer to that yes, but especially not when it comes to Craig McRae. I don't see that happening here, to be quite candid. Fremantle on field, I think, can go to a comparable level with Collingwood. I'm not saying they're better pound for pound or they're a stronger side. I think they can be within the ballpark, but we know that Collingwood can knife teams open on counter-attacks, and just switch gears in such a fluid and transitional method. Fremantle can't do that, I don't think. Fremantle have predictable gears. They have go slow. They have go fast for 10 minutes and then stop. That is Fremantle's gears. And right now, although it's good to see them winning games against contenders, I don't necessarily think they can go and get this type of scalp at this point.
Prove us wrong, Freo. We always want you to do that, please. Let's move on to the final round of the final game of the round.
It's not even the final round, because it's about 6 more after this. Adelaide hosting Gold Coast in a return fixture from a brilliant game at People First earlier in the season. This one is at Adelaide Oval. There was only a point in it when these two sides last met, and there was controversy after the siren. I'm going with the Crows here. Going with them with 2 confidence points, because it's just one of those games. Would not surprise me if Gold Coast won, but I've got to give the hometown advantage to the Crows here. They play Adelaide Oval so well. They got a big win against the Dogs, and I know the Dogs have had issues against good sides, but that's a big win for the Crows to go and get that job done in Victoria. They can now come back to home ground advantage, play a Gold Coast side brimming with confidence, and they should be after their performance against the Pies at home. This is a different challenge, though. Not necessarily a harder challenge than playing the clear ladder leaders, but it's a different challenge. It's a different form of challenge. I suspect there might be a little bit of feeling in this game, just given what happened earlier in the season. Hopefully a new rivalry coming across, the battle for orange.
Ooh.
The OJ supremacy. Not the one that sped down LA freeways. The juice that you can consume. This is not sponsored by Harvey Fresh, nor is it sponsored by anyone. I don't know why I'm talking about orange juice, but what I will say is I think the Crows have the ability to get this one done here. They've got good players on all lines, and I think right now, Adelaide are one of the momentum sides in the competition. I know that both sides have won their last 3 games, but I think Adelaide really have their tails up at the moment, and I want to see them continue that through into round 24 and beyond.
I got my vibes, Jesse. My son's vibes are back.
Well, it worked for you last week.
I sure did. I'll do the same again. Suns with 1. I think I really have nothing to add as to why I think this is going to happen. It's just my vibe tip, Jesse. My vibe tips are working for me. I would do my little vibe peace signs, but my computer will probably give me some sort of random, I'm going to do it anyway, vibes. I didn't do anything. Nice. It's my vibe game, Jesse. Aren't I cool?
Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this on VHS.
Betamax. No, I think Suns have shown that they can do it now. The Suns have shown that they have it in them, that this is not just some flash in the pan this year. And if they can take the scalp of, granted it was at home, but if they can take the scalp of the number 1 team in the competition, they're going to have the tails in the air. They're going to be really excited and going to be hunting it. And I don't see why they can't do it here. Suns with 1. And that's it, Jesse. That's round 19 in the books.
Well, not yet.
Send everyone home.
the round's got to happen yet, unless because they're assigning all the points to me and moving on. If we do that, happy days. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Just the Tips. Let us know who you think's going to win down in the comments below. Have we got our confidence points right? Have we got them horribly wrong? Let us know. The choice is all yours. Please consider subscribing if you are enjoying our content. A like on this video as well never goes astray if you are in that happy customer books. But until then, that's Liam. I'm Jesse. This is Centimetre Perfect, and we'll see you soon for more fun footy content.
Bye, everybody.